stupid, expletive. Or would it be better to say simpleton, simpleton, simpleton? Would that be better? This is my Draco again. Hello folks, this is my Draco. This is my lizard person. This is my alligator person. Yeah, look deep into my eyes. Look deep into my eyes and I will hypnotize you. What you see on the screen now is one of my favorite Bible verses. It's from the book of Isaiah. I repeat, I am not a Christian. I repeat, I am not a Muslim. I repeat, I am not Jewish. I repeat, I am not a Scientologist. I was brought up in the Christian faith, and that is where my background is. So when I do an autobiography like this one, I will refer back to my Christian origins in faith. Isn't that logical? Doesn't that make sense? Yes, these are from the book of Isaiah. These are some of my favorite Bible verses. I have many, and if I live long enough with this autobiography, I will show more Bible verses. So please don't be offended. It's not meant to be offensive. It's just eclectic. It's holistic. It's a collation of my life history. You might even say there's a little vanity. Yeah, a little narcissistic streak running through me. I've complained about this before. This is a prescription for Percocet. You probably can't see it very well. I don't like Percocet, but I have a twisted spine, a slipped disc, and I have sciatica, which is a pinching of the sciatic nerve that runs down my right leg. So from time to time, I have to take painkillers. And I don't like Percocet, if you can see this. I don't know if you can. That's the regular Percocet pill in the lowest dosage that's manufactured. This large pill here is the lowest dosage of Percocet that's manufactured. I also have stomach problems. That's why I'm wincing. My stomach hurts something terrible, mostly from the pills. This is a quarter, 1/4 of a Percocet. Can you see it? I'll probably drop it, which absolutely infuriates me because the pills are very expensive. That's 1/4 of a Percocet. 25% of the Percocet. And it still affects my thinking. It clouds my mind. My acuity, my mental agility, my mental thinking ability is slowed down. Something terrible with the Percocet. That's why I don't like it. Because I like to think clearly. I like to think clearly. I don't like to have my mind clouded with painkillers. But it's a necessity if I have to move. Right now we're having a storm. The storm is snow and sleet and rain. This is October. The end of, I'm sorry, this is November. See, this is the Percocet. I'm telling you, I just absolutely don't like it at all. But I don't know what to do. I don't know what kind of painkiller. And they had that scandal with those steroid injections that caused spinal meningitis. And that is where my fallback plan was, is to get steroid or cortisone injections in the lower part of my spine so I wouldn't have to take the Percocet. But I certainly don't want to get spinal meningitis. or any other strange thing from chemicals that have been polluted and chemicals that have been not processed properly. So let's read the Bible verse. Isaiah 45, chapter 45, verse 9. Woe to him who quarrels with his maker, to him who is but a potsherd among potsherds on the ground. Does the clay say to the potter, what are you making? Does your work say, he has no hands? Another translation is, what sorrow awaits those who argue with their Creator? Does a clay pot argue with his maker? Does the clay pot dispute with one who shapes it, saying, stop, you are doing it wrong? Does the pot exclaim, how clumsy can you be? The English Standard Version says, woe to him who strives with him who formed him, a pot among earthen pots. Does the clay say to him who formed it, what are you making? Or your work has no handles. Another translation is, woe to the one who quarrels with his maker, an earthenware vessel among the vessels of earth. Will the clay say to the potter, what are you doing? The thing you are making has no hands. The point of this verse, to me, my interpretation of it is an ironic interpretation, just the opposite from what the author in Isaiah chapter 45 verse 9 is trying to prove. A clay pot is not a sentient being. A clay pot has no consciousness, no self-awareness, but a human being does. Once the Creator, whoever that may be, created humans and created human beings as sentient creatures with self-awareness and consciousness, that voided the contract because humans have self-will, self-determination. They can choose between good and evil. A clay pot cannot. The word is anthropomorphic. The pot in Isaiah is as if the pot had consciousness. And obviously a clay pot does not have consciousness. At least it's obvious to me. Though the person who wrote Isaiah apparently did not understand the irony, or maybe he did. I don't know. So, the word stupid is inappropriate. Maybe the word simpleton is inappropriate. But I want to show you this book on architecture. It's about Spanish architecture. Eisenman Architecture Codex, the City of Culture of Galicia. Okay? And the reason I want to show this book on architecture is because, to me, personally, with the word stupid and simpleton, the two words, American architecture has forgotten public space, generally speaking, though there are some old buildings that do have public space. These buildings, these drawings are buildings in Spain. And you can see the huge amount of public space they have. I admit that Spain is certainly not like the East Coast of America. That's obvious. The Spanish have a different culture, and the Spanish have a different climate than what North America has. But we also have a limited amount of public space. Now, why is public space important? It's not only important as a cultural center, someplace to go, but it's also important if there's a natural disaster, like what North American eastern coast is now experiencing with snow, sleet, and rain in this month of November 2012, and Hurricane Sandy that caused tremendous pain and suffering. And I understand there are something like 40,000 people in New Jersey, New York, and the surrounding areas. 40,000 people are homeless. And I mean destitute. I mean their home and property has been completely and absolutely destroyed. There is nothing left. Can the insurance companies, can the private insurance companies help these people? Not likely. The only way these people are going to get help is from the federal and the state governments. Think about that, neocons. Think about that, conservatives. Think about that, Tea Party people. This is drawings or pictures of public space in Spain. The point being that American architects generally have failed the American public in providing open space for people to congregate, for people to socialize, for people to have cultural events, and the most important, to have shelter at night and during storms and social tragedies like America has experienced over the last 10 years. These buildings have to be built extra strong and extra durable to sustain themselves during some cataclysmic event. But they are public shelters, a place to go, culturally, to be protected from the elements, from the cold, from the wet, from the sleet, from the snow, and also a place to meet, like the malls, like the parks used to be before the Nazis took over America, or at least the Nazi mentality. And that's another issue I want to talk about someday. I have had personal experience, a 71-year-old man with a cane being chased out of public parks like I was some kind of pervert. This is land contour. It's well known in computer modeling. It's well known in architecture that heat rises, right? And by contouring the land in public space, you can actually divert heat channels or heat sinks. Water holds heat, so does asphalt and concrete. Woods and forest hold the heat during the winter. This is well known. If you don't know this, God help you, because it's basic science. By contouring the land, you can actually divert the wind channels, and you can actually divert temperatures to make an area warmer or colder, depending on what your desire is. The Spanish knew it. Why don't the architects in America know it? Why don't the city planners in America know it? They do. It's just it's expensive. And the public has to pay for it with taxes. And these neocons have reneged on public space as if they never use a public park. There's a map of water pools and concrete areas that hold heat and then release the heat at nighttime or during the winter to make the temperature rise and make the temperature warmer. This is standard science. This is nothing fantastic. This is nothing mystical. This is standard academic science. I'm getting the same maps over again. That's why I'm hesitating. There's more pictures of public space for people to congregate, for people to have meetings, public meetings, for children to go and have cultural events. So, architects, city planners, let's not be simpletons. Let's not be stupid. Horrors like Hurricane Sandy, which displaced 40,000 people or more who lost their homes, should have a place to go in natural disaster. So why can't we have public space where we can have meetings, where we can have cultural events for the public, and where we can go when there's a natural disaster like Hurricane Katrina and Hurricane Sandy and the storm that we're having right now. It's November 8, 2012. Rain, snow, sleet, and the people are homeless. 40,000 people have no place to go in the rain, the snow, and the sleet. Hello? Do I have to explain how cruel and mean and vicious that is? You neocons? You Tea Party people? If your home was destroyed, if your property was lost, that includes an automobile or any other building that you have, like a garage, where would you be? And even the banks and the other public buildings have been destroyed in some cases. So this is a book about Spanish architecture. And I admit, I am not arguing or quibbling that the northeastern part of North America is not sunny Spain. But I'm sure there are smart architects out there and city planners who can make more public space and contour the land on a temperature grid so it's warm during a cold season like the winter, and it's cool during the hot season like the summer. You don't have to be a rocket scientist or a brain surgeon to figure that out. It's all in books. Okay, I just wanted to mention these few books and then we'll close. This is one of the first books I ever bought about consciousness. It's called The Crack in the Cosmic Egg. I really should have checked the publishing date before I opened up this video. The publishing date is 1971. Yes, this is one of the first books I ever had talking about solipsism. Now, I mentioned on my WordPress, Add Your Ellis, about solipsism. That means the universe revolves around yourself. That is not the same as narcissism or egotism. It's not the same. It's a philosophical concept. To me, there are two types of solipsism. One is naive solipsism, which is narcissistic, which is egotistical. And then there's an abstract form of solipsism, which the Asians, generally speaking, of course, the Asian people understood. The Ways of Asian Wisdom. This book was also purchased sometime around 1972. I'll get the exact publishing date in a second here. And again, I regret that I didn't check the publishing date out before I opened up the video. Oh, I don't know. 1966. Okay? 1966. Remember, this was the time of the hippies. LSD and marijuana were very prevalent. And even today, psychedelics and hallucinogens are prevalent in Asia. That's how they came to the abstract idea, I believe, in abstract solipsism. There's a Buddhist story about someone going to heaven. But before they died, the monk warned them, do not eat anything in heaven. They disregarded the monk, the Buddhist monk, and they started to eat at this banquet in heaven. And sorry to say, they were revived from death, and they discovered they had bitten themselves, and they had taken big, giant bites out of their own skin. Do you understand that allegory? Do you understand that parable? Okay, one of the other books I got during the 1960s, the hippie days, was this Deep Self. And I really prize this because John Lilly is an excellent scientist and understands, to me, to my belief system, the way the world really works. The book was published in 1977. You might say I was a pseudo-hippie because I tried to have an appearance of a security guard. So I was kind of straight in appearance, but deep down inside, I had a hippie mind. I did have sort of long hair, but I combed it back in the 1940, 1950 style that men had. With the comb, I combed it sideways so it didn't hang loose like a female. Yeah. John Lilly also talks about consciousness and abstract reasoning and how the world appears to be in isolation and illusion, or maybe a better word is delusion. I've had this book posted before, but I just wanted to stress how I prize the book as a very valuable understanding of the makeup of reality. Okay, last book, Reincarnation. There's a poem in the book written by Benjamin Franklin, and I'm going to type the post of the poem because there's no point in me reading it. I'll probably stumble all over the words because of the drugs that I'm on. And I repeat again, I do not like taking the drugs, but I'm in pain. And when you're in pain, generally speaking, people will do almost anything to relieve the pain. And I know I make mistakes on these videos. So I'll type up the poem by Benjamin Franklin about reincarnation and post it. I'm sorry that this hasn't been very humorous, but with this snowstorm or a sleet storm and rain right after Hurricane Sandy displaced 40,000 people, it's not a very humorous situation, is it? And if we had architects and city planners who would consider public space instead of worrying about dimes and nickels and their own ego and their own narcissistic complex and stop projecting or transferring their own problems onto the public, then we wouldn't have to worry as much about the 40,000 displaced people from Hurricane Sandy. And there would be a lot of public money for them to rebuild these 40,000 people who are homeless on the east coast of North America. So even though I used the word stupid and I used the word simpleton, I hope it was in context, because you didn't know that the North American continent was open to hurricanes and northeast windstorms that came with snow and sleet. You didn't know that? Hello? I knew it back when I was 10 years old. And with all the information that we have now, from when I was born in 1941, all the computer information, the radio and television, and you don't know that a hurricane or a northeastern storm can destroy human life and property? What do you call that? What do you call that when an adult, 18 to 21, doesn't know that storms can kill people, that storms can destroy property, and that storms can make people's lives miserable? And we need the government, both state and federal, to help out in situations like that. And yes, the government does commit blunders. And yes, the government does stupid things. But that's up to the public to be alert and to pay attention to what's going on. You can't be stupid and you can't be a simpleton. Or somebody, somewhere, whether natural, in a storm, or a human being, will kill you and take all your property away from you, as Hurricane Sandy did. End of video. Thank you for watching. And I hope you consider this important, because I certainly do, as an autobiography. And I've lived through hurricanes, and I've lived through northeaster storms. At least I've lived to be 71 years old. End of video. Thank you.